Is this thing on? Can you hear me? Is anybody out there? Hey, tune in. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. And it's featuring the homie Big Hank. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show. And it's featuring the co-host Big Hank. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. Everybody tune in, you dig it? It's funny as hell, my dude. It's where we can kick it. Everything is going down. They about to do the most. It ain't a confrontation, it's a conversation, homie. Yo.
What it do? What it do? What it do? Welcome to the Roy Anthony Show. Oh my goodness. Let me take this off. Welcome to the Roy Anthony Show. I'm Roy Anthony. Thank you for joining in once again. This is our 5th week in our 5th season. And Big Hank will be stopping in. You know, my co-stars, Big Hank, Cynthia Joi, they'll be popping in. Sometimes we have some guests that will be popping in. And we want to give, I want to take this moment to give my condolences once again to our head producer of the WO platform, Richie King, aka Redneck Pimp. That's his comedy stage name. And his mother passed yesterday. And sometimes we have to respect those who we care about. And when we have a death, we kind of remain silent. We didn't have our musical show on last night. And like I said, I'm Roy Anthony. Welcome to the Roy Anthony Show. We fall under the platform for the WO Entertainment, which was created by Richie King, aka Redneck Pimp, along with the co-creator Goose, and our associate producer Blue Phoenix, Athens, our sponsors Matthew Brooks. We have some more sponsors lining up. And so until everything became official, I just don't say their names. We have our good neighbors, the BB Nation, Backwoods Veterans based in Oregon, the BRS Veteran Radio Syndicate around the U.S., along with the Long Beach All-Stars based out of Long Beach, California, the WO Entertainment family, and then our personal family, friends, associates, and those who don't even like us, So, and so when the guests come in, I just want to give some of the endorsements out. I want to once again bring up about Cynthia Joi. Cynthia Joi has wrote a book. You can find it on Amazon. You look under Cynthia Joi Town. The Joy is spelled Joi. Strength in You, 8 Lives in the Heart of a Survivor. As anyone knows, that she was a victim of a stroke at an early age, and she was just popping in, and something's probably wrong with her system, but she'll be popping in pretty soon. We have a returning guest. I see him in the background. He was here last Thursday, Mr. Randy Walters, and it was brought to my attention because there's a lot of guys who doesn't understand, about sensitivity and how we deal with hurt. And you're looking at one of the biggest advocates. When they asked me about this subject, it was brought to my attention about this subject. And I was talking with Randy Walters. And it was him and some of his family members that brought it up. I want to bring him in. He's in the house. I'm gonna bring him on in. And so, hey, how you doing, Randy?
What's going on, man?
You got it. And as you probably just hearing in the background, the subject today, y'all, is we're talking about. The subject was called "Do Men Cry?" And if you do, does it help process your feelings? And when the subject was brought to me, and then when our team was talking about it, I had to admit that I'm one of those type of people, one of those type of men who rarely shows his emotions. I call it poker face. I keep what's going on. And sometimes we compare, well, I ain't gonna say we. Sometimes I've compared, like crying from men kind of to be, a little sensitive, and that's because I was raised up that, you know, you hide your feelings. If you're gonna cry, you go in another room. I was raised like that. How do you deal with um your feelings, Randy?
Oh, this is one way that I deal with my feelings. You know, I involve myself in some type of physical activity. To balance myself, we are men. We're more physical than we are emotional. So, but when I'm having a moment like at a moment's notice or like a acute moment and my feelings are spiked, I know it depends. Most of the time, I give myself 10 seconds from the moment that caused me irritation to try to respond rather than to react to the situation.
Yeah.
A couple of seconds of breathing,
Yeah.
things like that. If I'm in deep emotion, it's hard because I don't have a playbook for myself, and even to this day, I just know when I'm going through it to try to do the best I can for the moment. But I,
Okay.
I really don't have a playbook, so to speak.
Are you if you had to step out or something, let me know and stuff. I know
Yeah.
you took the time to
Yeah,
come on. We got
I'm gonna step out just for a second. I need to jump into this class and
Oh
get
yeah,
on.
do that, man. I just want to know, let the people know that one of the fellas is with me. He's listening and
Mhm.
stuff. Go and take care of that class. We got to
All
take
right,
care of that
I'll be back with you
that
in a second.
improvement.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, one of the things it was brought up to my attention, you know, that I tend to not, I think it'd be rarely that you'll see me cry in public. Even when somebody asked me, so what do you do when you go to a funeral? Well, I wear shades. I don't, you know, if I go to the funeral, it has to be someone I really care. I send my condolences. I have flowers, because I believe in remembering that person as they were when they was alive. Now that's just me. And so it was questioned about, Roy, do you relate to your feelings? And as you've seen Randy Walters, um, ex-military, like he said, he's MMA, martial arts, own his own business. And sometimes we get out and we have to do something physical. So someone asked me, like, well, you have a problem if people seeing you cry? Like, I've never thought of it as a problem. It's just that I'm really not the type of person that is actually been a person who goes out and cry. That I've had deep sorrow situations in my life. Yeah, I have. If my eyes start messing up on a situation, I'm one of those ones who quickly turn and dab it away and try to, put on my poker face. Sometimes we have lost loved ones, family members, close friends, people we respect. They would make you cry. I know when I've seen my children sick and everything, it bothered me and stuff, and when they would sleep or something, I cried. I don't know if my children ever seen me cry. I've known myself that I've seen other men cry and it kind of gets to me, and then it's just not crying, it's relating with feelings. Sometimes us guys don't know how to express ourselves. I have been able to talk to my son and share with him on how to, express himself instead of keeping it compressed like I have when I was growing up. And probably to this day, I've always had problems with relationships because I don't know how to um, um, show my feelings the way it probably needs to be done. Is this a hard part of me? Probably so. Something that I probably can correct, but then I always said there's so much other things in the world to deal with than to me to be concerned with dealing with feelings. Um, Saturday night we had the Warriors Fest, WO through the Warriors Fest, and I was one of the performers. And as I talk about, even in my podcast, even in my stand up, I always try to talk, on humanity, not about who's white, who's black, Latino, Asian, gay, straight. You know, I don't get into those specifics. If you're a human, you are encountered that respect from me. So a lady shared with me when I got off. It was I don't like calling it race, but it was this one white lady, and she's known. If anybody get a chance, especially people who veterans or you've been dealing with someone who's committed suicide, she has a her name is Tracy Hope, and Tracy Hope has a program called Hope After Suicide Loss. It's a virtual support group, and they have meetings every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. You can reach out and see if you can be part of her program by going to her email, Tracy Hope. I didn't put it in the thing, Tracy Hope Group KC. That's Tracy, TRACY, Hope, HOPE, Group, GROUP, KC, and at gmail.com. Now, she's going to be a special guest this evening on the Wall Entertainment platform, which is hosted by Richie King and his co-star Commander. But when I met the lady after I got through performing, my son was there along with his girlfriend. I call her my little daughter-in-law, and some other people. The lady handed me this flyer, and she had wrote, and there's a poet, and she told me that I reminded her of this particular poet. And the poet's name is Shel Silverstein. I want to make sure I say that right. Shel Silverstein. He is a poet that grew up in Chicago, Illinois. And when I'm a person who's a man of, I try to be as much as I can about my word. If I tell somebody I'm gonna look at something or I'm gonna come to a function, just like I still owe it to the BB Nation that I'm definitely making an appearance. It's just I've been taking care of some family situations that are deeply. But I want to share this poem with everyone. It's by Shel Silverstein. That it was introduced to me by Tracy. Well, her name is Tracy Hopkins. I'm sorry. Let me say her name correct. Her name is Tracy Hopkins, and she is the main host of a virtual support group called Hope After Suicide Loss. Oh, wait a minute. Here's my co-star. She's coming in the house. What's up with you there?
What's up,
Joe?
Sugarfoot Honey Love?
Good. You got it. Do you know Randy just popped in for a quick minute, but he had to get into a class. He had just popped in, and then when he left, then you popped in. You feel? But I was just talking about, I did this performance Saturday evening for the Warriors Fest.
Okay.
And my stand-up is always bringing about how I bring the cultures, blacks, whites, Latino, like, you know what I'm saying? That's how my comedy is based on about humanity as well, right?
Right.
And this lady gave me um, this author who I'm wondering if you knew about him. His name is Shel Silverstein. He's from Chicago, Illinois.
Oh.
And she asked me to look up because I was giving out identification, on my stand up, how, some similarities and some comparisons. But I want to read this poem that she had said. It's called No Difference. It says, small as a peanut, big as a giant, we're all the same size when we turn off the light. Rich as a sultan, poor as a mite, we're all worth the same when we turn off the light. Red, black, or orange, yellow, or white, we all look the same when we turn off the light. So maybe the way to make everything right is for God to just reach out and turn off the light. That's Shel Silverstein, man.
Hey, that's deep.
Hey, that's deep, ain't it?
That's lit right there. That's deep for
Hey,
real, for real.
I tell anybody, go. His name is Shel, Shel Silverstein. He's easy to look up. And you know, the media always paints everything from Chicago as this bad, 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 it's murder,
All
murder,
right,
murder.
right.
But then all of a sudden, here's this man.
It's some
You
beautiful
know,
things come out that crazy place.
yes, and even like yourself, you know, you being appointed by Santa Claus to work with the Santa Claus robe.
I come through with the gifts.
And you know, I just brought your book up again. I'm telling
Okay,
you, you know,
appreciate it.
and I'm gonna touch back again, like the subject. Now, the subject was, men, do you cry? And if you do you process? Does it help you process your feelings? And I was explaining because I didn't want to do the subject. You know, I thought I was a little sensitive. And Cynthia got to talking to me yesterday. We had a conversation about the subject, even though it was some men who sent the subject to me. You know, men and married and everything, you know. And when I got to talking to Cynthia yesterday, I sometimes you have to talk with someone to realize characterization, especially character flaws of myself.
Absolutely.
And and one of the things, just in the short conversation we had, is that I realized that I don't cry in public or don't want to be seen crying. Even when I go to a funeral, I wear dark shades, you know. And I was like, well, Cynthia got to tell you. Want to share what you was telling me? Yeah.
Well, the first question I asked you was, why is it that you feel the need to hide your feelings?
Because it's me at the funeral. Why do you have to go?
And then, I had to remind you, and let's remind others. We grew up in a society, in a world where, especially if you got skin that looks like ours, we are taught as a male, you got to be tough, you got to be strong. Men don't cry. And you human, you have feelings. So if you're human and you have feelings, why should you hide them? If you hide them, you find yourself in situations where you possibly may kill somebody, not realizing you're that angry from what you're feeling internally, and then externally it shows.
Now, yeah, y'all have heard Miss Cynthia, and I'm glad we're having this conversation because I pondered on this a lot.
Oh, what you come up with?
One of the things is that because at one time in my life I had to take anger management. You were seeing the side of me where I didn't know how to express myself as y'all was knowing for me. So when I felt cornered or put on blast or something, I was ready to, strike out physically
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't know how to um assimilate my word patterns on how I'm feeling, because it's not that I couldn't express it. It's just the side of me didn't want people like, oh, he's weak.
I think you didn't know how, because you got to remember, as a child, I'm sure you come from an era where you was hit for almost everything you did. So when you was wrong or you hurt your mama feelings or whatever you did that made them feel away, instead of them responding to you with words to teach you how to communicate that, they hit you. So it was easy for you to respond the same way when you was feeling disrespected or in that corner, the same
But,
way.
but see, that's the thing though. When I was a kid, like if my mother whooped me or something like that,
Yeah.
and as I got older, I had made up my mind. I ain't taking no whoopings like this no more,
Right, right.
especially from anybody. So I assumed my crying to discipline. So where I became older, I'm there's no point in me crying because I ain't been disciplined. But then, as we all have been, where we've lost someone close to us and everything, I distance myself when I see the group of people crying.
Mm-hmm.
I'm that person who wants to go by herself instead of be crying in front of other groups of people.
You just said something that triggered me though a little bit. Not in a bad way, but it made me think about something. You said, how'd you say it? It wasn't no need for you to cry because you wasn't being disciplined.
Yes, I gave like
So you associated crying with discipline.
that's what I'm. Yes.
So that goes into another realm of what is discipline, because discipline really just means to teach. But our ancestors didn't know what that really meant. They thought spare the rod, spoil the child. So they beat the hell out of us when we did certain things, thinking that was the way to
Yeah.
discipline us.
But
But
I
that
got to the
really
point
wasn't.
where discipline didn't, a spank, a whooping didn't bother me no
Right.
more. But then I looked at people like my grandfather. My
Yeah.
grandfather died when he was 94.
Oh, bless him.
I cannot ever recall seeing my grandfather crying. I seen him repent in church, but I didn't see no crying from him.
Mm-hmm. That's
Now,
the time. Yeah, he
it
wasn't gonna
was
cry.
it was brought to my attention though that when he was dying, on the night he was dying, that those in the house could hear him praying and asking God to forgive him for this, different things and pray for different ones. And sound like
Mm-hmm.
him crying and stuff because he's going through that transition of from life to life.
Right.
But now when we deal with it, because sometimes I think it's these type of subjects where it's overdrawn some men. And what I'm saying is, and I thought about this last night, this isn't the first time I've heard where women say that men need to get related with their emotions and their sensitivity. And so
See,
I've seen some men go a little bit where they real out there sensitive,
yeah, see, to me,
right?
it's different than getting in touch with your sensitivity than being in touch with your feelings and
Why
being able to
are they the same?
communicate
They're
that.
not the same.
Not to me,
Okay, so
because
fine.
sensitivity, crying is to me is a sign of strength. That don't make you sensitive. To me, this is my opinion. To me, it shows a sign of strength to be able to release what's going on inside of you for the world to see on the outside, because
But
you're
don't you
cleaning
think?
yourself.
Yeah, I'm
Huh?
just asking. Don't you think feelings and sensitivity are the same?
I don't.
Because
Because
like
you
if
feel angry, you feel emotional, you feel sadness, you feel disappointed. You have feelings. But being sensitive just means everything makes you cry. Everything may hurt your feelings. But being
so
in
men shouldn't be sensitive; they should be about their feelings.
men should be empathetic, which
Yeah,
means you see somebody else's situation and you put yourself in their shoes, and you don't say what you would do or how it would be for you. You relate to them on their level and be empathetic of their feelings, and then express what
but see,
is.
what I'm saying is, okay, you just said insensitivity. That's a person crying all the time, because I can't be sensitive. I mean, I grew up with Ice Cube and them saying, "Who you want? You want Michael Jackson or you want Thug?" You
Right,
feel?
right,
Now,
right.
and I've been through this. I had this ex-girlfriend one time. She used to say, "You need to get close with your feelings and be more sensitive." Now she compared the two. Like I don't, my feelings won't let me be sensitive.
Yeah.
But when there was a noise in the night, I thought I heard
But
something.
that's that stereotype, Roy. That's the
Wait a minute, I'm just
stereotype.
saying this. I got this nudge. I thought I heard something. Now I can't lay up there
What
and be
that
sensitive
is.
too, like under the cover. What you think is going on?
Right, right,
Right.
right.
I got to get up and I'm gonna check it anyway. With my kids, I hear them cry out in the middle of the night. Dad, there's a monster in the closet. My kids are just for real. When my son was like 6, and he thought he seen a monster in the closet. You know, he's drinking. So I go in the closet, and I'm tearing something up. You out there, you come in here.
Right.
Clothes is flying out. I'm doing right. He
When you
said,
say
"Get him,
like that,
daddy. Get him." Right.
right.
Now, to me, I was being sensitive to his fears,
His needs, yeah.
to his, you know what I'm saying, without showing like he. I
But
wasn't.
see, you play all day.
You know, I'm Jesus. You know, God rest in heaven.
You know, I know what you're saying though.
But I'm just
But
being
even
honest.
that he didn't make
Now,
him sensitive. See, that's a
yeah,
word.
but
That's a word. Okay.
because I always
Hey,
equate.
Mike probably would throw them hands. Don't play.
Yeah, but I just acquainted sensitivity with
Yeah.
through males through like Michael Jackson
Yeah.
compared to us. You lived in Sabrini Greens.
Right.
I was the brothers who was sensitive being treated.
Well, one back then when I was staying there, but to me, I guess in a way, I would revert or retract some of the stuff I was saying because I guess when I see sensitive, that means like a dude, y'all watching this love epic together, and he just get the crying out of nowhere, like
Yeah,
that is what sensitive to me is. But
yeah,
like being in tune with your feelings to be able to express like I'm sad or I'm mad about this versus like just physically doing something or
yes,
like want to commit suicide or stuff like that.
yes.
That's different. You got to be able to express that so it don't build up to that point to where you get to those levels.
So we can agree that okay, men don't always have to be so sensitive,
Yeah.
but men should be aware of their feelings.
Yes.
Okay,
Absolutely.
now I'm with you on that.
Absolutely.
I'm with you
Because it's not
because
about being
I'm
sensitive. It's
probably one
about
of those
being in tune.
ones. I'm one of those ones who's confused being sensitive with showing my sensitive feelings. Okay, because okay, I'm be honest. Every
But wait,
time,
why do they got to be called sensitive feelings? If you feeling sad, why do they got to be considered sensitive feelings? Why can't they just be?
well, I'm just comparing to where you said here's a guy watching a love movie or something. All of a sudden, he just boo hoo. See, I can't watch a love movie and boo hoo. Me, I'm like the cartoon Batman watching the movie. I'll be watching the Batman cartoon movie. He's watching the movie with Cuban Gooding and the actor who plays Mission Impossible. What's his name? Who plays in Mission Impossible?
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise. And in the Batman Lego movie, he's watching it when he said, "You have me at hello." Batman is laughing, right? That's me. Now, I'll be honest. I did shed a tear when I'm watching a movie like Brian's Song or Remember the Titans. That was the latest.
Powerful, yeah.
Yeah. Now
that's okay though. That's not sensitive. That's feelings. You felt something.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I felt, I feel that and stuff.
Like sensitive is like the puppy got ran over and now you crying on the porch because he died.
Yeah, see, because I'm the person who's gonna come to your house and say, "Hey, I just seen a dog get hit. Is that your dog?" And they be like, "What did it look like?" I'll be like,
"See, you said you petty as hell."
Look, okay. Look, one time we had this dog. I had a partner of mine gave me a puppy. He was 2 months old, and all his hair fell off, and he had some little grooving thing. So I'm thinking he's going to die. So I'm ready to. He crawls over. I'm gonna throw him in the trash bag in the dumpster. Best dog burial. No, I'm just being honest. So my kids, it's like, "Hey, can't you fix him?" And whoop the whoop. And I'm like, "Fix him? All his hair is gone. This thing, I think he's gonna die. Do something." Now, so I'm sympathizing with them. So I said, "Okay, I'll take him to the Vet's like, oh, he got this deep, this and that, and everything. They want to charge me almost $1,000 to treat.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm thinking like, well, now I put him in the car because I'm thinking I ain't about to spend no $1,000. Ain't that sense, right?
Right.
And I'm at the kids like, hey, it's nothing to do. But the spirit of God told me to call one of my a partner of mine who goes to this pet shop. It was in Compton, and they deal with all types of animals, right? And I went over there and he said, hey, it gave me these pills. It was costing me $20 a pill, and it's bringing me each week. Well, in 3 weeks, he grew his hair back. He got full health and everything. He's jumping around. Now,
Okay.
I measured that up because my kids was very simple, sensitive about it, and their feelings were showing. Whereas with me, throughout my life, I love my pets, but I ain't going to sit up here and cry over, all day like it's a human if they pass.
Well, let me tell you something. I do.
I mean, I love my animal. I had to get rid of them now, but I didn't cry for everybody. People ask me now. I had two of my favorite animals, and they, and I cried, but I didn't cry in front of everybody else.
But you did cry.
By myself.
But why by yourself? What was it that you was afraid of the judgment? Were you afraid of the judgment?
Now you on the subject right there. I've always
Yes.
been one. I'm just being honest. I've always been a person who always tend to cry when I'm by myself. I
But
go,
you said that, but why? There's a reason for everything we do in this life. And
and
so
that's
we
real.
got to sit back and ask ourselves why.
Well,
Why
one
do
of the
we
things
only
is that
cry
as
on
being a
life?
comedian, I'd rather see people laugh than to see people cry. And when I see another man cry, it will make me try to shed a tear. So in my psyche, I'm thinking like, oh, if I cry out like this, I'm about to make everybody else cry. When usually I'm in front of people and my get downs is to make them laugh, even if it's in a crying situation. That's my
Okay,
mechanism.
what if it's just you and Big Hank? Because that's a bestie. That's your brother. So you ain't gonna try to pretend that you ain't feeling the way around him. You'll be 100 with him. Would you cry around him, or would you?
Big Hank, I got a lot of stuff I need you owe me.
See, that's a problem. You hiding and masking who you are at that moment. We're
I'll be
different
like, hey
people at
man,
different times
I'll
throughout the
be like,
day.
hey bro, let me use your restroom right quick. I'm keeping my eyes open real wide. Let me use the restroom. Then I go in there and get some tissue to that.
Your eyelids done broke off because you trying
Yeah,
to.
actually, I done came out the bathroom with pieces of the tissue around my eyelids because I went in there now. And I don't know. And we're talking up on something that, you know, I don't I know we're gonna have to pick up on this subject again Thursday because I know Big Hank and we're not going to be on long today because I have some very deep appointments
Okay.
coming in. We're going to be getting out of here at quarter till the hour and stuff. I have a couple of major things set up I had already talked to you about, but I don't want nobody to think I'm gonna shortchange them about this. Even though there's some things I want to talk about with some of this some of the racial stuff, some of this and that. But Cynthia was right. Some of us men do have to be able to understand our feelings because if we do know how to express our feelings, especially to our significant other, I know some guys, which is like what Richard Pryor said, a woman get to arguing and he don't know what else to say. Next thing you know, he just say fuck it
Right.
because he don't know how to express
It's a lot again.
himself.
There's a lot of people like that, but not
Yeah.
even that. This whole thing is important even with our kids because we got to teach them that it's okay to have feelings, and we got to teach them how to be able to process and communicate that because sending them into a world that ain't necessarily ready for what they got to say, but it need to be said, but they don't know how to express it. You know what I'm
And
saying?
now there is difference. Now I can understand that to express like, hey, now to the rest of the world, I don't really, like how can I say? I really don't feel like I have what's the point of me saying that? Like, okay, I tell people I'm a philanthropist. I want to
Okay.
give half of what I have to help mankind. To
Mm-hmm.
me, that is my character trait of what I want to do. I don't think that it's going to hurt my feelings if I cannot. It do hurt my feelings when I see someone that needs help and I want to give them help, right? Or I get very emotional when I drive past a memorial on the street. That is something that always gets to me when I see the memorials of someone who doesn't, their loved one done got, died in a car accident or something in that
Yeah.
area. Um, I don't know. Usually I'm by myself. When I'm with other people, I don't even bring no attention to what I'm looking at because I don't want to be all of these situations. Now, you saying something though. Me and my partners, we lost one of our brothers last January,
Okay.
unexpected and everything. And when I got the word of it, I couldn't come around nobody for 2 days because I was just crying.
Okay.
But I couldn't. I don't know if it's mental, or whatever. But I couldn't go around nobody feeling that way that I was about my childhood home.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they say, misery loves company. I didn't want no company. I didn't want nobody to, oh, it's gonna be all right, Roy, and
Right.
I didn't want that.
Yeah.
And
'Cause sometimes
to
you don't
me,
want that.
you feel me? And to me, that's oh, get it out, get your sympathy out. Look here, I'm aware of what I'm crying about.
Right.
It's not that I'm unaware of sensitivity. It's just that, hey, you know, I've been through scenarios where, hey, it hurt me painfully, but I'm the leader of my household. I can't break down too. You ever tried to drive your car with misty eyes?
I have. I pull over to the side and take care of business.
There it is. But I
Because
got a car where
sometimes as a
everybody's
human, we
crying.
gotta break down, and it ain't. I don't even see it as a breakdown. I see it as a little cleaning session. You got to do a little quick cleanse, real quick. Let's cry it out real quick,
But you
wash
didn't
it
have to
off,
do it
and
in
get up
front
and
of
keep
other
it
people.
pushing. I
Did-
do absolutely, strangers and all. I personally don't care who I cry in front of because I know we all go through
See,
something.
now this is where I guess this is where everybody's gonna find out. I guess this is something at work because if I cry in front of somebody, I lie to you not. I, I'm ready to fight properly.
Look, I cried on the phone with you that last time I was talking to you when I talked about me being laid off. I was crying on the phone then because it just be like that sometimes. And it's a part of life. We all cry about something. And it's like, I shouldn't have to hide and pretend like I'm not human for you to
But
feel
it
better.
seems like femininity is a synonym for sensitivity.
But I don't agree with that. I think that's what's been taught to us. I feel like femininity and masculinity are kind of one and the same. Only difference is you got an innie and I got an innie, you got an outie. And we were taught different. They let boys climb trees and do wild, ambitious things. And they told little girls, sit down, close your legs, and shut up. So it was what was taught to us. But I don't really think there's a real difference. I think it's just a matter of how we were raised.
But
That's
see, okay, look, now you and I believe in Jesus.
mm-hmm.
Some people call it different names, but I believe God knows
I
what
believe it.
know.
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
now, out of all the words in the Bible, the smallest scripture, the shortest scripture in the world pertains to a character trait of Jesus, and it says Jesus wept. Now, I had to be specified out because is he known to always crying and everything like that? But it says he wept. Now, some people get the misunderstanding that he's crying about his friend Lazarus dying. Now, you can't cry about something that you can bring back to life.
Right.
The way I see it is that he cried because the lack of faith people had around him. because he
Cry
laid
for his
up. He said,
people.
"Oh, he ain't doing nothing but sleeping." They said, "Lord, he been in there 4 days. Surely he's thinking. Surely he's maggot food." But he's like, "You don't know who I am."
Right.
And so I felt that he wept because all the people in the whole town. And remember, I said when men see somebody else crying, especially another man crying,
Mm-hmm.
like I've seen kids cry, it doesn't make me cry. I've seen women cry, it doesn't affect me to cry. This is in person. But if I see a guy crying, it kind of bothers me.
That's
Not,
because you've been
huh?
taught because it's programmed in your mind that number one, if a man is crying, he must really be hurt. See, women cry because we women. That's what's been taught to you. Then kids cry when they can't get what they want. They kids, they gonna cry anyway. But when you see a man cry, because you're taught as a man, he's not supposed to be doing that. He must really be affected if this man who's not supposed to cry is really crying. When the real thing is all of us supposed to be able to cry like that. And
Yeah, but I feel like, okay, if you do cry, there's a masculine way of crying. Like if tears come to
what the
me,
hell? You know what, Roy? Don't play with me. What the
wait
hell
a
is the
minute,
masculine
wait
way
a
of
minute. If
crying?
I cry, this is how you gonna know I'm crying, man.
You know what? So ain't no tears gonna really be coming out your
Right?
eyes.
Yeah, they coming out, but you ain't gonna see them. You just see them coming down under the glasses, right? But wait,
You don't want to be seen ugly crying.
not
That's
like
what that
this.
is.
And
You
tears
don't
just
want that ugly cry.
wow, tears just coming out like a fountain. I think if you do cry, you do like this or something like and get it back in. But to just literally just
You know what?
now you looking like you wanting this. You crying like that, you want somebody to come up and hug you or something. I don't
You
need.
might need the hug. Men need
Oh
hugs
no.
too.
I'm telling you, if I'm crying in front of public, it's something in me. I think we're gonna have to talk about it because I'm ready to get, you know what I'm saying? For real. It's just like when I've been hurt, I tumbled or something like that, and somebody come around, you all right, man? Just back up. For one, just leave me alone right
Because
now.
you gotta be tough. You don't want to be soft. Can't nobody see you like this. So get away from me.
Help
That's
me
what
if
that
my
is.
consciousness leave. If I leave unconscious, now help me. But if I'm aware,
You know what?
and you got me thinking, and I
You
don't,
need to be thinking because you said tripping.
I don't, I don't want someone to think like, hey, and I want to be, and I'm like, okay, now I do know how to talk my feelings. Like if I'm with a lady or something, I do know how to express myself and then be like, hey, I was kind of hurt like that. I'm gonna tell you something. I've seen guys, and I've been through this, where somebody asked, what's that you asked me? Why does it make guys mad if you sprinkle a little water on them?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I said, it's not the water. It's just that man has not expressed that he's not having a good day. Because we carry sometimes like nothing has affected us.
My point exactly.
So you done went home from work, you've been upset. You don't want to be one of the ones who bring your work home and talk about all this and that, but it's in your aura, and you sitting there and just want to chill, watch something, and then somebody comes playing, and then you like, why don't you stop playing? What's wrong with you?
Right.
And we got to get back on the subject. We're gonna cut it. Can we pick this up third?
Absolutely. Let's
Because
get
we
it
got to
on
go full
Thursday.
range into this.
Let's get into it.
I wanna everybody. We're gonna come back. Men who do you cry? And if you do, does it help you process your feelings? And then, like you said, there is a difference between. I seen what you had. There difference between feelings and sensitivity.
Yeah.
It's a totally difference, and I think I'm one of those people who has meshed them together, and kind of and you. I just learned something. The guy gonna have me thinking all the night, Wednesday night, and coming up to the
Yeah.
thing. Hey, I pray for you. I love you, Cynthia.
Always love you too, man.
Big Hank be coming in. I want to give condolences once again to Rich, aka Redneck Pimp. He lost his mother yesterday,
My condolences.
and we can, one of the things I don't like what somebody to say that can really tick me off is, I know how you. If you ain't been there, that's a cliche. You said something earlier. You said it's empathizing when you put yourself in somebody else's shoes. Just say, "Hey, I empathize with you." I used to tell people, I feel for you, but I can't reach you and stuff because I can't empathize because I ain't been in that position. And I think this is where we're gonna pick back up on Thursday.
I'm with this.
All right. God
All right,
bless everyone.
have a good one.
I'm Roy Anthony. God bless.
Hey, is this thing on? Can you hear me? Is anybody out there? Hey, tune in. It's the hottest show, homie, on the West Coast. The Roy Anthony Show.